Yeah, I saw the piece of that. Yeah, I got mine that yeah, I'll pass it over to you. Sorry.
Alrighty.
What are we singing again?
Yeah, we're gonna mix you up. I want to welcome everyone to Iowa City Noon Rotary. I am your president, Eric Weiler. Thank you for spending this hour with us. It's great to see everybody. We like to start each meeting by singing America the Beautiful and then doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And today we have Devin on piano and we have Aaron Schaefer on vocals. So I'm going to give them the microphone to take it away.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Before we introduce our visiting Rotarian, our guest today, we have three very special guests from our Rotary district here that I would like to introduce. We have Steve Dakin. Steve is our past district governor. So, yes. So welcome, Steve. And we also have our Rotary District Membership Chair, who is also our program leader today. We have Dave Cook. Dave, if you could please stand, help me welcome Dave. And certainly last but not least, we have Chris Knapp, our District Foundation Chair. Chris. Now I'd like to introduce our greeter, Dave Siebert, to introduce our guest today. Please help me welcome Dave.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see you here today on a rainy day. Well, Eric just stole my thunder. I was going to introduce Chris, but so much for that. We've got another visiting Rotarian with us, Phil Peterson from the Iowa City AM Club. We have a number of guests here today, so if you have a guest, please come up and do your thing to introduce them. Hey, would now be a good time for a mic drop? Yeah.
Hello, I am pleased to announce that Shannon Green, the Executive Director of Ronald McDonald House Charities, is with us again. And after the last meeting, she did want me to mention that we do have the renovations at the house are just about complete, and we are allowed to have visitors. So if anyone wants to stop by and see all of the changes, we would love to have you. I'm working on it.
Good afternoon. I'm John Gross. My guest today, visiting from Maryland and standing at that back table, is my granddaughter, Caroline Hammer. And for the past 15 years, when Caroline has been in Iowa City, she has perfect attendance at this Rotary Club.
Heather Lampe is with us from the Boy Scouts. If you were here I think it was last summer, she did a program for us on Zoom. So she's here in the flesh today. She's got a little announcement. Thanks for coming, Heather.
And I have one guest today, Christina Milligan. Christina, just wave. Yeah, Christina is the Business Development Director for Junior Achievement. So welcome, Christina. Yep. Now we'd like to invite our Rotarians who have an announcement to come forward. And I know Heather Lampe with the Boy Scouts had a special announcement. So Heather, if you'd like to come forward, and anyone else who has an announcement, feel free to come forward at this time.
Well, thank you, Eric. Again, my name is Heather Lampe. I'm the Consul Development Director for the Hawkeye Area Consul. We cover 7 counties in Eastern Iowa. I'm also a proud mom of 2 Scouts. And so I'm just here to thank you very much for your annual support. We are very excited to announce that we were able to open camp this year, and we welcomed 1,000 kids back to camp. So I actually was there this morning, just long enough to get a little wet from the rain and watch 100 daycare kids step off their buses and enjoy a day at camp. And all those programs we have, our camp in the summer, our year-round programs that provide leadership opportunities, STEAM adventures, as well as outdoor opportunities for the youth here in Eastern Iowa. That's because of our Friends of Scouting support. So I want to thank you for continuing to support the youth in Eastern Iowa.
Thank you, Heather. And I'm Heather. And yes, there is a movie about us. So I am thrilled to be able to come up and talk to you guys about RILA and World Affairs Seminar. When I first joined Rotary, Linda cornered me and convinced me to join the Youth Leadership Committee, and I'm thrilled that I was able to do it. And one of the things that it opened my eyes to is that I have children that were coming of age for this opportunity. Little did I know the impact that this would have on my 15-year-old daughter who attended RILA this year. These are pictures from her week at Coe College. Let me give you a little bit of background. So this young lady is a very independent spirit, very bright, very talented, and has struggled a little bit because in middle school, being independent is not necessarily something that is going to endear you to the hearts of your fellow students. Her freshman year in high school, she had some issues with a bully, and to the point that she had to switch schools in order to succeed and thrive and be able to have an environment that she could really feel comfortable and safe in. And so when she got home, when I picked her up from Ryla, she didn't talk that much about it. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I'm just processing." I said, "Okay, process. I can't wait to hear." And then on Instagram, when the pictures were posted from Ryla, I'm going to read to you what she wrote. "Where do I even begin? How about with all of the incredible people I had the honor of meeting this week? Whether it was my Team O family or all the others I met along the way, I'm so thankful for each and every person, even those I only had a split-second encounter with. Every single one of these people have changed my life for the better. You walk into a room with 7 complete strangers, and in the course of a week, walk out together, a family. The things I learned from each and every person will stay with me forever. I learned so much about myself as well. I learned that opening up to people is so freeing, even when it is extremely difficult to do. I learned how to communicate with people with different personalities than my own, and how to understand different points of view and different truths. I was skeptical coming in. No phones, not being able to know the time, not knowing anyone. I walked in and never expected what I came across: joy, acceptance, kindness, family. I could go on all day about every little detail and every person that I have so much gratitude for. Ryla was an experience I will never forget. After some things that happened in my life, I feared I would never get back to my old self. Ryla has helped me to find her again in an even bigger and better way. Please, please, please find out who your local Rotarians are and reach out to do Ryla. You will not be disappointed. If you get this opportunity, do not pass it up, no matter how dumb or cheesy it might sound right now. Trust me, I thought the same thing, but I came out the other side a leader and a better person. From a parent standpoint, this has been life-changing for all of us. I have my daughter back, and her future is brighter and stronger than ever because of Ryla. So on your tables, there are donation forms. Help more kids have this experience. It is life-changing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Heather. And Heather's comments are perfect. We all know that Ryla and World Affairs makes a tremendous impact in the lives of our future leaders. And 2 weeks from today, we're going to be celebrating our Ryla and World Affairs students. We'll be joined by probably 20 to 25 students and their families. So make sure you mark down to be here 2 weeks from today. Now we're going to have a drawing. The Highlander Hotel has graciously put up a couple free one-night stays. And if everyone could pull out the ticket that you got if you purchased lunch, I'd like Adam Kaler to introduce him to do the drawing.
Thank you all for attending Rotary. It's been a pleasure to have you guys the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think we're on 5th or 6th week maybe. So hope you guys have been enjoying the meals and all that kind of thing too. So pleasure to have you all back. So as far as the complimentary night stays, the complimentary night stays are valid for whoever the winner is, and I'll send you out with a certificate, and we'll get your room reservation made for you. So Eric, go right ahead and draw 2 if you're, let's just do this.
It says Eric Weiler. Okay, if everyone can check their numbers. The first one, 8. 8235. We got, yes, got a winner back there. And the second ticket is 898207. Adam, should they contact you after the meeting or what's okay? So yeah, just reach out to Adam after the meeting in the lobby when we're done at 1 o'clock, and he'll give you the certificate. So thank you all. Thank you, Adam, and thank you to the Highlander. Now I wanted to mention Rotary Club. We wanted to send our condolences. I know John Gross and his daughter are here today, and John lost his wife several months ago, and I believe the service was either yesterday or today. But if you could please join me just at a quick moment of silence for John Gross and the loss of his wife, Carolyn Gross. Great, thank you. And John and your daughter, please accept our sincerest condolences on behalf of our Rotary Club. Okay, services are 2 to 5 tomorrow. Oh, Saturday. Okay, at the Kirkwood Room by Lansing Funeral Home, 2 to 5 on Saturday. So thank you, John. And now for our Rotary moment of positivity and gratitude, we've invited Colleen Brown. Colleen is our brand new Sergeant at Arms. So please help me welcome Colleen.
Hello. So I just thought I'd tell a story. My mom tells a story and she tells it best, but my father passed away in 2007 when I was 37 years old. And a couple of weeks go by and my twins were 3.5 years old at the time. And she'd come up and visit a lot, and I was working or something, and Ava and Drake were, okay, here we go. So Nina's gonna go. Okay. So they're talking about my grandpa. They're wondering where they're at. I mean, they were at the funeral, but they're 3. And Ava says, I saw him in that box. And my mom says, well, I know, honey, we buried his body and then his soul went up to heaven to be with Uncle Patrick now. And so there was a long pause, and Ava's 3. And she says, I don't get that. And so she just didn't really explain much because 3 years old is kind of, so the other story is technology. So a week or later so goes by, and Drake, Ava's twin brother, says, sitting at the lunch at the kitchen table, Grandpa died. And Ava turns to Drake and says, well, that heaven man is going to bring him back down, wake him up and bring him back down. And so it's kind of an endearing story. I have a strong faith. I was raised Catholic and I'm a Christian, but thinking about the gratitude is, I'm in trust and wealth management, the stock market. It reminds me of my life. In 2000, my son Hunter was born. The same year my brother Patrick died at age 34. So that was like up and down. And then 2003, the twins were born. And then 2007 was up, and then 2007 my dad passed away. But 2018, fast forward, my oldest son Hunter got his Eagle Scout, so thought I'd mention that. And then just this year, so the twins turned will be 18 in December, and my son Drake had been talking about it, but then early this year he was accepted to the United States Air Force, so that's exciting. So that's all. I'm just glad to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Colleen. For our visitors, every week we ask a Rotarian to share their moment of positivity and gratitude. And we've all been through a rough last 1.5 years with COVID and derecho. So this is a great way to kind of uplift our members in our meeting. One thing I'd like to do, I'm looking at the camera here, I want a special welcome to our Zoom friends who have joined us. And I'd like to pass the microphone over to our AV team. And if we could just recognize our Zoom folks who are with us today. Who wants it here? I'll throw it. You guys can.
Yeah, looks like we have Eric Weiler. He's really good. Amy O'Dean, Ann Parker, Brent Bonner, Christina Kimmerly, Christy Felberg, yeah, Tagba. We have someone on an iPhone. We have James Scott, Jesus Garcia, John Schneider, Katie Knight, Linda and Ray Mustin, Ricky C., Robin Hepker, Steve Wolken, Tara Menitos, Tace Winkelbach, and Tim Walsh.
Wait over real quick. Is that possible, Devin? I'll give a great big Rotary hello to our friends here. Thank you, guys. And if we could, a round of applause for our AV team. They're always here about 11:15, getting everything ready. So thank you, guys. So now on to our speaker. We have our Rotary District Membership Chair is Dave Cook, and our Rotary International President. Oh, we're going to sing Smile. So, yep, we've got Aaron. Can we bring you up front again? We're like a well-oiled machine now here, guys. All right. Thanks.
Well, I'm also a member of the RILA committee, and I'll just reiterate how awesome it is. And I was also cornered by Linda, which seems to be a theme, but she's our fearless and great leader. So let's go. Smile, everybody. It's a great day. Smile, and the world smiles with you. Sing a song. Don't be weary, just be cheery all day long. Whenever your troubles and your cares seem to be more than you can really bear, smile, and the world smiles with you. Sing a song.
So Dave, how for an introduction? So please help me welcome our Rotary District Membership Chair, Dave Cook.
Let me give the mic to past District Governor Steve Dakin. He has a few things he'd like to talk about.
Eric, you need to come back up. So this is from the year 2019-20, 100% Foundation Giving Club, average over 100. Also have a flag here for every Rotarian Every Year Club. So
we'll probably display these.
I'm not done. There's a certificate for your support of Polio Plus. So,
All right.
I didn't have the opportunity to come and speak in person during my year, so I'm going to take a little bit of time. You know, there's a little saying about never hand a past district governor the mic, and now I am a past district governor. But I'll tell you a quick story. You know how an old shoe and a past district governor are alike? They may wear out, but their tongue never does. So, I want to thank Bill Bywater. He gave me Alan's pen, and I stuck that in my safe, and I'm not sure quite how to properly display that, but you know, thank you. Thank you for supporting Polio Plus. It's been 27 weeks since we've had a reported case. We're getting this close. That's why I still have the purple in my beard. It gets me some strange looks, but it gets me some good conversations too, and talking about polio. Many young people don't know anything about it, and that's good too. I want to thank this club for the way that you give. And I learned this from Chris Knapp. This is our foundation. We give $1,000, become a Paul Harris member. $500 comes back to the district, but the other $500 that RI keeps is still under our control. You can't beat this system. So please, please give. You know, I pointed out at district conference, Jim Merchant and Dr. Diane Atkins spoke about one of your past district community grants and how it saved a life. I love those stories. You can't beat them. So, and I think I'm kind of talking to Heather. I was at RILA. I remember your daughter. You can't forget any of these kids. You go there and you get a chance to share a whole week with them. And thank you for supporting 10 conferees. We had 130 this year. Tomorrow we're going to be meeting at Co-College where it was held this year and discussing what our future plans are. It's so important. They're already leaders and they don't know it. So it's up to us to get them to this sort of situation for the Rotarian, to help them understand that you're already there and to speed up this process so they get to a higher level quicker. I, every day to my team, would give a joke and a saying. And I gave them the joke Sunday when they came in. Monday morning, wouldn't you know it, there was a glitch with the programming. And so they asked, anybody got a joke? And my team said, go up there and give the joke. So the joke was, if you stand on a toilet, you're high on pot. I'd also give them a saying every day, a quote, hey, let's be the person your pet sees. This is what RILA is all about. I get more out of RILA than I give, and I'll never miss a week, but as long as I have that opportunity. So I had on my team, our team, Team Red, Daniel Donald. Say that 3 times fast and not me. I had a team of mostly introverts for the first time. And I'm saying my team because we were all one on that team. The Rotarian really is not in charge. And we're going to need Rotarians in the future. And that's why I'm talking about it. We are going to need Rotarians in the future. Daniel was very much an introvert. And wasn't soon that we could recognize, the whole team recognized, he's a deep thinker. We'd have a team activity and he wouldn't put anything in, and all of a sudden he would say something, and it was always the right way to go get about getting this activity done right and faster. And before the week was over, he was talking, and I'm telling you, you sent a great young person there, and thank you for that. And all the other 10, I did get to see some of them. Well, I got to see all of them, but I can't sure that I can point them all out. But what a great group. So it's clubs like this that makes District 6000 the strongest. When I was driving the Rolling with Rotary RV back in 2017 with Jennifer Jones, and I got to visit 5 different districts, I saw how strong this club, how strong District 6000 is. Because of you, District 6000 has that strength. You have so much to be proud of. Your community needs you, District 6000 needs you, and RI needs you. And so thank you. Dave and I have been going out here since 1st of May. It gave me an opportunity to visit some of the clubs that I didn't get to during my year. Dave and I met when he first came into Boone Rotary in around 2000, became friends. Most all my friends are Rotarians, imagine that. He started visioning for the district. And when he stepped down, it took 3 Rotarians to take his place. And when we moved that train, if you've heard about the train up there in Boone, when we moved that train out there to the south end, the Welcome Rotary train, Dave was the head chair of that program. So with that, I want to bring Dave on up.
So I am honored to be in front of this club. And the reason why I feel so strongly, thanks, Devin. The reason why I feel so strongly about that, this club has done so much good over the last 105 years. And I was fortunate enough to do the visioning for this club back in 2013. And after that, FAMSCO. After that, Rag for Clubfoot, Ecotepec. And every time I came away with a greater respect for the members of this club and the good you do, not only in this community, but in places so far from here. So I say to you today that I know 2 things. One, this community, our district, Rotary International, needs a strong and growing Iowa City Noon Club. And second, I believe that our world needs Rotary now more than ever. So let's talk about why we're here today. As we come out of the pandemic, now is the time to focus on membership. And why is that? It's because we have all been through some significant change in the last 12 to 18 months. But there were a lot of people that during that period of time found themselves doing things in their community that they hadn't done before. And they learned that service can be important, not only to your community, to your own well-being. And those are the people right now that we should be reaching out to, because Rotary is a place for them where they can do that in so many different places. It's true what they say. If you've been to one Rotary club, you've only been to one Rotary club. And why do I include that here? Because we're going to talk about some ideas today, some abilities of ways that clubs can grow their membership. But this is your club. This doesn't come from on high. It doesn't come from Rotary International. It doesn't come from the district. These are simply seeds that we hope to plant, and you decide, whether this is the right fit for this club. Regarding district membership, we're going to see some negative numbers today. That's okay. It was our first pandemic. And I will tell you this, you see in the numbers for your club, you can see, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, that this club was particularly hit. But let's actually ask ourselves, why was that? Well, I can tell you, somebody who was looking towards Iowa City, out on an island in the center of Iowa, is that we know that we're dealing with this much sooner than most of the people in this state. And you continued to show perseverance and leadership. So we understand, but now we have some work to do. In Iowa City Noon, you saw some membership loss in the last few years. In some respects, it may be time to challenge the status quo so that you can build upon the incredible, and I don't use that word lightly, the incredible foundation that exists with this club. So I apologize for those in the back of the room, but every club, I do a 10-year look at their membership, because if we don't own our numbers, we are not bound to try and strengthen them. So just a couple of things that I notice on here. So first of all, if you look at the first half of this decade that I'm showing, this club, you can see the district numbers, which is the green line on top. The district numbers were coming down, weren't they? But your trend was going in the opposite direction. So as big as this club is, you guys were basically going against the trend and growing. And then after 2017, we hit a little bit of a rough patch. And the club lost 28% of its members in that 4-year period. You can see, this is the latest RI number, 239. And you can see the impact of COVID. You can see it right there. And the average club in the district lost 8.6% of its members in the last 12 months. It was an average loss of 5 members, but 8.6%. And you guys were closer to 12. As I said, we got to own the number, but now we have to start looking and saying, is this going to be part of the trend? Or is it going to be an outlier? That is up to you. Let's make 2021 an outlier. It's an aberration. It's the dip that you see in looking for, at the S&P 500. We also tried to take a look at percentage of women in a club. Why is that? It's because Rotary is a club of men and women, women and men. The reason why we are so effective in the service projects is our ability to work together. And a club that has a low percentage of women basically is dealing with service with one arm tied behind their back. So we take a look at this, not surprising because of the scale of this club, you match the district numbers. But what I would say to any club that has less than 50% of their membership as women, we can be even better than we are today. And I would say that if I was down at Marengo, that has 80% of their members are women, I would say the exact same thing, because we are a club of men and women, women and men. We have a membership challenge that's been given to us. Rotary International President Sheikh Armetta is asking us to grow from 1.2 to 1.3 million members this year. That's a heck of a challenge coming off of COVID. But you know what? We've got some work to do. Let's talk about that. So if you're a small club, a club of 20 to 24, they are being asked to grow to 25. Why? Because clubs that have less than 25 members are really vulnerable to the loss of a few key leaders in those clubs. If you're a club below 20, they are being asked to close the gap by half. But just think about that. If you're a club of 15, and we have some, those clubs are being asked to grow by 30%. So the numbers seem small, but if you're in that community, those numbers seem very large. If you're a club of 25 or more, you're being asked to grow by 10%. If you're a club of more than 100, as this club obviously is, you're being asked to grow by 10 members. For Iowa City, the challenge is to grow from 239 to 249. Iowa City growing from 239 to 249, in my eyes, would be a big step in the right direction. I think growing to 250, by the way, I love round numbers, would be even bigger. But that number is up to this club. Whatever you guys believe that is in the best interest of this club and this community, that should be your target. How do clubs achieve the challenge? Not by just doing what we've been doing in the past. If we do that, we can expect the same result. No, Leonard Bernstein said, to achieve great things, two things are needed. First, a plan. How are we going to make it happen? And two, not quite enough time. And not quite enough time is what gets us out of bed in the morning and says, you got to move, you got to act, because the clock is ticking. So it starts with clubs answering two questions. One, you guys will have to determine as a club, do we accept the challenge to grow in the coming year from 239 to whatever? And second, if the answer is yes, how are we going to make it happen? And I'm going to tell you a story at the end of my talk here in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you a club that was presented with a similar challenge, except they hadn't lost 28% of their members, they had lost 50. Let's talk about 5 proven ways to grow membership. I love putting this slide together for each club because it gives me a chance to get to know the club based on the pictures. And just as a couple observations from a Rotarian that does not live in Iowa City, one of the first things I noticed was here was a club that was active during COVID, because there are some clubs where you see no pictures with people with masks because the pictures all took place before March 2020. And they didn't do a whole lot during that next 12 to 16 months, but not this club. You can see the pictures. I love the pictures. And by the way, the folks from a literacy standpoint, there's a little nugget here at the end for you as well. So the first 2 are drop dead simple. The first thing to do, encourage from a membership standpoint, is re-recruit your current members. You don't want the hole to go deeper. And every club, we had people that disengaged during the pandemic. That's just human nature. But we want to reach out to those people now and let them know that we are committed to making this club even better than it already is. And we need their help to make that happen. It starts with those who disengaged, and really focus on some of your newer members, because for them, Rotary may not be a way of life yet. Number 2, quick, do a club health check. Spend a program, have your membership fill this out. Eric, you guys take the data away and come back and just see, are there 1 or 2 things we could do as a club to make us even better than we are? And you do that every year. It's kind of like an annual checkup. You do that every year as a way of continually improving your club. Let's get into some of the meat here. Rotary International President Sheikh Armetta is asking each one of us to help grow Rotary from 1.2 to 1.3 by bringing in, not just bringing somebody to lunch, but bringing in a new member, somebody who believes that service above self, that serving others is important. 4, this is something that we have learned, that spouses and couples membership, especially couples among young professionals, is a dramatic way to grow your club. How many times have you seen spouses who are active in club service projects or club fundraisers, club activities? They are Rotarians in every way, shape, or form. They just don't have the badge. And so one of the things that we tried to do was reach out to them and see, for some of them, noon clubs don't work. 7 a.m. clubs, Chris, don't work. But is there a way that we can provide an opportunity for more spouses to join Rotary? Consider what could be done in your club to encourage more couples and spouses. Number 5, new club types, after work or sunset clubs. This is the fastest growing part of Rotary. And why is it? That 5:30 to 6:30 for a lot of younger professionals, for a lot of moms with kids, dads with young kids, is a 1 hour that's not currently being scheduled on their calendar. If you're working at home, it gives them a chance to leave, go to Rotary, and re-engage with people. If they're working in an office, it allows them to go to Rotary and still be home in time for dinner or for high school activities. You will see here in a minute the dramatic impact that 1 hour, having a satellite club, for example, where those members would be members, for example, of this club, but they might meet at a different time, what the impact that can have. Clubs are looking at new membership options like corporate, that's not new, young professional, virtual, et cetera. These, by the way, are all ones that the Ames Noon Club is currently looking at. Finally, new club models, cause-based clubs. This could be an opportunity, I believe, in a larger metro area like Iowa City. Now that Rotary is embracing, working towards basically improving our environment, having an after-work club that is focused primarily on the environment could be huge in the number of younger professionals that could be attracted to that idea. I'd like to leave you with an example of the impact of doing just a few of the things that we're talking about can have. Boone Rotary lost over 50% of its members following the recession of 2007 and the 9 years that followed that. In 2016, the club had 34 members, was a club at one time as high as 77. So much smaller than your club. But just like Iowa City, the impact of that club over the last 100 years has been significant. In 2017, we said, that's it. We are not going to decline any larger. We are going to do something. And so we said we wanted to increase membership by 50%. We set the goal. We went through visioning. We said we want to grow by 50% by June 30th, 2022. And to achieve that goal, we needed a plan. And that plan was to add an after-work club that encouraged more women, more spouses, more couples to join Boone Rotary, because we are, in fact, one club, even though we meet at different times. Here's what's happened. As of today, 31% of Boone Rotarians have a spouse in Rotary. 1 in 3. 1 in 3 have a spouse. 43% of all Boone Rotarians are now women. And we are quickly on our way to 50. 47% of Boone Evening Rotarians have a spouse in Rotary, almost 50%. And that's because in the evening club, there's a lot of young couples that come to Rotary together. They're learning about Rotary together. Steve's wife is in Rotary. My wife is in Rotary. They're both members of the evening club. They didn't want to be in the noon club with us, and you can't blame them. They wanted to find their way themselves. 76% of Boone Evening Rotarians are women. And this was the big surprise. 42% are educators. They couldn't come to a noon meeting. It's not just Boone teachers, it's teachers from Ogden. We have a teacher from Ankeny. We have a retired teacher from Des Moines. We have a provost from DMAC. We have a nursing professor. But what binds them all is literacy. And this group has given out over 4,000 books in the last 12 months to grade school kids throughout Boone County, public and private schools. Last, best of all, as of June 30th, Boone Rotary was only 1 new member away from growing 50% in 4 years, not 5. And we had 3 new member applications on July 21st. The club is going to hit its 10% target before the end of August. And it's only because we gave a window that was open to more people than what we were currently being able to serve. This is what our club looks like now. That green bar didn't exist 3 years ago. And you can see, you guys, can you see what's going to happen? That green bar is going to be as big as the blue bar in a really short period of time. With that, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to your club. It has been an honor.
I want to thank Dave again for sharing the inspiring message with us. I think we would all agree Rotary does incredible work around the community and the world. And I just want to challenge everyone, if we can grow the club, we can make a bigger impact on our community, our state, and the world. Special thank you to our Rotary District leadership members who are here today, to Dave, to Phil Peterson, Chris Knapp, Steve Dakin. You're welcome to join us at any time. And Dave, in honor of your presentation today, our Rotary Club will make a donation to the Rotary Foundation Polio Plus program. That'll be matched by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and that'll provide 70 vaccinations of polio around the world. So thank you again. Final reminders, next week we have Rotarian Aaron Warner presenting on a very timely subject. He's going to talk about cybersecurity and how we can protect ourselves online, which is very timely. And we like to conclude our meetings with the Rotary four-way test. So I'd invite everyone to please rise and join me in the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Hope everyone has a wonderful week, and we are adjourned.